I'm feeling a little dark fantasy punk today, and I sort of have a good reason for it. And that reason is going to be coming up in the video. This is Kat the Crow-Winged Author here at the Magic Library, and who says that an author can't be a tease in a way? Before we get started and everything, please know that this video is primarily going to be about Seraphim the Awakening, which I'm almost done with, and it is the beginning of a trilogy that is the sequel trilogy to my debut novel, Arborealux. And if you've not read Arborealux yet, I please ask you to go down to the description below and click on the link that will take you to Amazon where you can buy the book. Those profits and everything mean a whole lot to me in order to help my business grow. And if you want to continue to support the Astroblood Chronicles, please go to my Printify store. The link is also down in the description below, and you can buy yourself some merch. You've got the options of t-shirts, you've got hats, you've got mugs, you've got scented candles now, you've got stickers, buttons, stuff like that. All of those links are down in the description below, and I hope you guys will enjoy the selection I have for you. But right now, let's talk about Seraphim the Awakening. As I said before, it is the sequel trilogy to, it is the beginning of the sequel trilogy to Arborealux, and it's let's just say that there is a lot of build-up and a lot of unanswered questions, as a first book in a trilogy should properly do. There is a lot going on in Seraphim the Awakening. You get the back and forth between the two main characters, Phoenix Bright and Zyla Colt. You sort of get into a little bit of their backstories as well. You see that there's something going on with the peacekeeping organization known as Cathedral, and you see that there's a lot of things that are sort of pointing to inward corruption where Cathedral is concerned, and also in some people. Everything is interconnected, and you don't really see those connections until later on in the series. Around book two, you sort of get more connections that sort of tie other events in the beginning of book one together, and then in book three, everything comes to basically a tremendous battle, and it comes to a very huge climax that is very, let's just say, intense. Going off of themes of Arborealux, it is a dark fantasy. It's also technically a paranormal dark fantasy because there's a lot more supernatural stuff going on in this. There's visions. There's some dialogue between Zyla and Luca, her adopted brother, but he never really makes an appearance. It's more of he's a ghost, and it's the ghost that her mind is sort of conjured up because she feels responsible. She's sort of like, you'll see. Zyla Colt is a bit of an oddity. She is what is known as a mesmer, and which basically means that she has the ability to look at someone and are able to rewrite their memories, or to basically make them believe whatever she wants them to. She doesn't really like using this ability, not unless she absolutely has to. Being a mesmer basically means that she has a bit of the Morgenstern bloodline in her, and because this takes place in a more modern era, basically everyone has a little bit of the Morgenstern family line. It's just that she's from a more direct she's more of a direct descendant in a way. And let's just say that she's not the only direct descendant of the Morgenstern family at all. She's not just a descendant of the Morgensterns. She and her twin sister Irina have quite the mysterious heritage, primarily because they know nothing of their parents, and they were both in the care of an orphanage before that orphanage mysteriously burned down. And before you're wondering, no, neither of them caused the incident. It was one of our main baddies that's in the series. I will say this series is not for the faint of heart, specifically because of the villain. The villain is dastardly in more ways than one. Let's just say that this guy's a manipulative SOB, and we'll keep it at that. And later on, when you learn about his true bloodline and everything, yeah, you're gonna be like, oh, no wonder he seems so familiar. There's a lot of tie-ins and callbacks to Arboreolux, because this is later on in the series, and later on in the timeline, and let's just say it gets rough. Very, very rough. Going on with some of the themes that you see in Arboreolux, there is some more, there's a lot more paranormal stuff because of what happens, and because of what happens and everything, and there's a lot of mystery in this series, and there's also mystery where all the ties come in. I mentioned before that there's events that don't really seem connected with each other, but they'll be connected later on. There is some romance here. It goes from like enemies to allies to lovers, specifically where Phoenix and Zyla are concerned. There's some other romances in there too. You've got a long withstanding romance between two characters that you really learn more about in book 2. There are some there is sort of a love triangle, more of a forbidden romance situation between two of the supporting characters, and that I really sort of enjoy and everything. I had a lot of fun sort of fleshing that out here in book 1 to sort of just add more substance, because when I was doing the rewrites for it, it's like, this character and this character don't really show up a whole lot in book 1, but they show up a lot in book 3. I need to change that. So let's just say, yeah, I did a lot of fleshing out. And patron saint of writers, saints and spirits of writers be with me. Let's just say that it has been a very, very twisty, windy road when it comes to this story as a whole. I did something that's sort of out of the ordinary. I wrote all 3 books all at the same time for it to be a cohesive storyline, so that I could go back and write what I needed to. Let's just say I might have bitten off a little bit more than I can chew because of it. I really created a lot of work for myself, but I sort of had to because of what I was wanting these stories to be. You might have noticed that the sort of peacekeeping organization that's sort of hypocritical is named Cathedral, and to those of you who think I'm attacking the Catholics, I'm not. I'm not really attacking anybody. It's more of there is there's a lot of corruption that we sort of turn a blind eye to, and that can be from anything from religion to politics to peacekeeping organizations, and we want to believe that there's good in people, but for someone like Zyla, she sees the darkness before she ever sees the light. And when she and Phoenix first meet, they immediately get into a fight and everything, to which she almost kicks his ass. But it's sort of it's a journey of self-discovery for Zyla, and for her to open herself up because she's closed herself off from everything. She's afraid of losing somebody she cares about. First she cared about Irina, and then for the longest amount of time she thought Irina was dead. She thought that Zyla thought that she herself was the only survivor of the orphanage fire. And then she was taken in by Luca Colt, who gave her his last name, took her in and raised her and everything. And him being a huge activist for the rights of people who were sort of seen as a minority because of mixed bloodlines and everything, and him being gunned down by a cop. It's very traumatic for her. And of course I sort of put myself in her a little bit because she is known for her temper, and so am I. So there's that. But for Zyla and everything, this is a journey of self-discovery. She goes from being closed off to being protective of those, and she's wanting to be there for people. She's wanting to not make the same mistakes as she did before. And of course, she's got the ghost of Luca sort of in her mind telling her that she doesn't need to be so hard on herself for when she fails at a goal. The ghost of Luca is sort of her conscience in a way. And she learns that there's a little bit of a callback. I just got done retyping it for the third draft before I put everything up onto Wattpad. And let's just say that things get intense. Very, very intense. Because there's a vision that she has when she meets the mysterious woman in the light blue riding cloak, that she has a vision of the God's tree. And for any of you who have actually read my book, you know that anything having to do with the God's tree is sort of linked and sort of important to the story as a whole. Because that's where the story starts. Even before Arborea Lux, that's where the story starts, and it sort of is tied into that now. So, yeah. It's a story of self-discovery. It's a story of finding yourself, but it's also a story of finding out who you are as a person and what you're meant to do. Sort of try to go against the grain, but within reason. And there's sort of a reason for that. Zyla and Irina are twins. They are identical twins, and they are sort of marked in a mysterious way because of who their mother was, or technically is. Zyla has a mark on her left shoulder blade that is of a folded wing, and Irina has the same mark but on her right shoulder. So they're sort of meant to be mirror twins in a way. But because of how Zyla and Irina were raised and everything, their ideologies are going to clash, and they're going to clash hard. And there's actually a prophecy that the Oracle of Cathedral actually sort of has a very disturbing vision over in the prologue of book 1, and it's intense. And let's just say that this is sort of a classic flip of destiny comes to those who seek to avoid it sort of thing. And it's like, in order for things to sort of become better, you have to follow this path. Which is, of course, really ironic to my own beliefs about the matter and everything, because they believe everybody should write their own story. But it's for this particular bit and everything, it's like sometimes you can't run away from who you are. You have to do this in order for things to be okay. You see this a lot in mythology. You see this in a lot of religious texts as well. You see this in, I believe, some stories of the Poetic Edda. One in particular, the death of Balder, is a perfect example. You see this in Christianity somewhat, particularly Moses in the Exodus and everything. You know, just that. Yeah. You guys know me. I mean, like, I love putting like little bits and pieces in there that are symbolic of other things. I mean, like in the first book, I had like the caste system. I had like the class system of Victorian England. I had bits and pieces of like the Salem witch trials in there. And I also had a very, very glowing tribute to Jack the Ripper. So let's just say, yeah. I do my research and I take what I know of that research, put my own spin on it, and put it into my books. This is nothing new if you guys know me at all. But I do believe that's all I can say about Seraphim Awakening and the Seraphim trilogy as a whole without really spoiling it. I hope you guys are I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you guys I'm still looking for beta readers. I've got a few people on Facebook that want to be beta readers. If you guys want to be beta readers as well, just drop down in the comments, let me know. And I will put a Wattpad link up on all of my both channels. Well, technically this channel, I can't do posts on the Otaku Section for some reason, but I can also put it up on all of my social media, and you guys will be able to go to Wattpad and look at it yourself. I will say this, because it takes place in a more modern era, it will have, it will be a little bit more, not necessarily realistic, but it will read a little bit more modern. Either way, I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope that you guys read it and you want to read how this story sort of came to be, and you'll go back and buy Arborea Lux so that you can have further understanding. And more importantly, I hope that you are able to immerse yourself in the story. I hope you're able to basically put yourself in the shoes of the characters to follow along, because that is the purpose of my writing, is that I write immersive fiction so that people are able to escape the world for just a little bit and just escape and be adventurous. To follow along in the shoes of a character or their journey to fall in love with the good guys or the bad guys, whichever your preference, to slay dragons or to tame them. It's just that I believe that immersive fiction is the escape that everybody needs, whether it be for the life that you have or the life that you want. So that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I hope you will like, subscribe, and comment. And subscribe and ring that bell for more notifications if you really like my content. Even if you don't, just subscribe and just follow along with some of the rants of the chaotic thoughts of a chaos writer. And everything. So I just do what you will with this video. Like I said before, my first book, Arborea Lux, is out. Go to the description and in the link, and you will find the link for the Amazon listing there in the description, and go there. And if you've read the book, leave me a review on Goodreads or on Amazon or wherever you decide to buy the book from. Specifically because these reviews will help my book get out there and to really establish itself in the genre of dark fantasy and paranormal dark fantasy and immersive fiction. And if you want to support the channel besides liking, subscribing, and sharing the video, and also leaving comments, please go down to the description and you will find my Ko-Fi link. I have a Ko-Fi account set up. I've still not put in a lot of perks on there. I'm wanting to put like a writing group and a book club, to which hopefully I'll be able to set up those more particularly on Twitch. I'm hoping to get into Twitch soon to sort of read books, to do writing sprints, to do stuff like that, and just to help people follow their passion if they're that kind of creative. And also, if you want to support the Astro Blood Chronicles and everything, please go to my Printify store and buy some merch. I've got some shirts with some silhouettes on them. I've got some with quotes. I've got one particular line that's just the word "yup," and it is specifically something I did for my mom because of the trip that we took in earlier in July of this year, because we went all the way up to Michigan. We drove there and we went camping. And if you guys are interested in that journey, I actually have that entire series of videos as a playlist that you can go to on my channel page, and you can go to the playlist and look for it yourself. But besides that, the link for that will be in the link for that particular store will be down in the description below. And if you want to follow me for whatever reason to see my writing updates, to see my updates on life, or my chaotic thoughts in general, please go down and follow all of my socials. I've got TikTok, I've got Instagram, I've got Twitter/x.com, and I've also got an author page on Facebook. With all that being said and everything, I hope you guys have a very wonderful day, and I hope that you guys go out, seize the day, and also seize your passion. No matter what that passion is. And Tolkien won't let me hold him. Say hi, Tolkien. Say hi. Say hi. Yes, the pretty kitty does not like to be held. But he does like to have scritches. So just have the scritches, have the scritches. Don't mess with the tripod. My usual line for the ends of these videos is that a world lies behind the covers of a book, and I hope that whatever book you pick up is just one that allows you to immerse yourself into the story, because that's really what's important. This is Kat the Crow-Winged Author here at the Magic Library with Tolkien, and we both hope that you have a very wonderful day. Bye guys!